we are joined by CBS News senior White House correspondent Ed O'Keefe and CBS News congressional correspondent Scott MacFarlane. Good morning to you both. I know it is a busy weekend. Can you believe it? 3 days left to go now. We need your whiteboard at this point.
Oh, Ed. That's right. Once again, I forgot it. 3. We're down to 3, Michelle.
How are we approaching this final weekend? Where do the campaigns stand?
Well, look, you talk to people who work for both of them. They concede that this is a really tight contest. And as someone smarter than me put it to me the other day, it's not that you are rolling one set of die this week. You're rolling 7, because those 7 states are all so tight. And if they fall in various ways, there are various computations to get either of these guys over 270. They're throwing everything they have this weekend at this, putting their candidates out there. I think we're going to get a sense by the end of the weekend of what their turnout operations really look like. Were they knocking on millions more doors? Were they able to turn out the people that they could early voting? And how are we preparing for Tuesday? And the other thing we have to think about now is the armies of lawyers they may have to deploy, right? The sort of expectations that could come Tuesday night of what either of them say or do, and then the hours after that. And I think we've been doing this in rehearsals. We have to remind people, we're not going to know Tuesday night. It's just expected to be that close. This will roll into Wednesday morning, probably at least, right? And then we'll see. But that's not because states aren't doing their jobs and counting. It's because things are expected to be so close.
Well, Scott, we know the control of Congress is also at stake here. The House is in control by the Republicans, the Senate, Democrats, but that could all flip.
There's a reason we stream shows like in binging, because we hate cliffhangers. We are guaranteed cliffhangers, and it's not just the race for the White House. Presumably, the next president would like to have a cabinet, some Supreme Court justices potentially, and legislation and policies. All of that depends on who controls Congress. And both parties are vulnerable to losing their control in what they have now. Democrats have this narrowest of margins in the U.S. Senate, and they're already jammed up going into Tuesday night, playing a lot of defense in some very difficult spots. Republicans have that almost stalemated narrow majority in the U.S. House. They're playing defense in an awful lot of tricky spots. Some untraditional swing states in the U.S. House, California being one of them, where Republicans may be in a defensive posture. We may not know who wins that Tuesday either.
What are some of the other key races that you're looking out for?
In the U.S. Senate and the U.S. House, a little different political complexion. You see the key House races. Look, at some of those states may seem familiar. They align with presidential battlegrounds. Arizona's up there. Michigan's up there. Pennsylvania's up there. All of our sympathies to the voters in those states. They're getting saturated with congressional ads, too. But you see New York. Look at the right. Republicans trying to defend in New York. That is a unique political calculus. No one knows how that's going to go.
Both of you are talking to a lot of voters. What are they saying? What are their key concerns?
I mean, they're exhausted, right?
Yeah.
They want this over with. There's a big concern about what the results will mean and what they foretell. But we know that, as the polling has shown us for more than a year, the economy and inflation, big concerns, issues of dollars and cents. For many people, access to abortion services, the future of democracy, those are essentially the leading concerns. And I think we've seen both campaigns in different ways this week deal with them, try to address them. And the fact that we've seen Harris in just about 100 days basically come even with the former president on the issue of the economy just shows you how much Democrats understood they had to address those concerns lest they have any chance of winning.
And I think voters are ready for this to end, because the ones Ed and I speak with, they sense the toxicity of this.
Yeah.
It's hard to put that lawn sign up in some parts of town. It's hard to have a conversation at the barber shop. It's difficult because it's heated.
It's permeated everything, it feels
Certainly.
like. Thank you guys very much.
Clarify, you're going to Canada on assignment.
Yes, on assignment for a story for CBS Saturday Morning.
Okay.
Regardless of who wins.
That's right. Ed O'Keefe, Scott MacFarlane, thank you so much for being with us. And Ed and Scott will be part of our election night team here on CBS. We'll have full coverage beginning at 7 p.m. Eastern.